to Denmark!
So with these 4 student leaders, our goal this year is to create spiritual multiplication. Our hope and our prayers is that these 4 student leaders will have a heart for their campus, will have a heart for their friends, heart for multiplication, and a heart for evangelism. So the first week we did something called Welcome to Copenhagen. It's partnered by 14 different churches to serve the community and also to welcome the new students who are coming into university. We did a bunch of things varied from fixing bikes to running races to raise money for charity. This month has been a month of just full dependence and full surrender to the Lord. We arrived here not knowing where we're gonna live, how are we gonna get to places. The Lord graciously provided us with a temporary apartment, bikes for us to travel to campuses. There have been many times when we really needed to surrender to the Lord, realizing that apart from God, we can do nothing. And it led us to just persistent prayer, not needing to feel anxious about anything because He knows what our everyday needs are. And He says it clearly in Matthew to seek first His kingdom. So really the Lord has been teaching me to really depend and rely on Him, continuously abiding in Him, fixing my eyes on Him who is the perfecter of our faith, really to seek first His kingdom. So on a weekly basis from Mondays to Fridays we go on campus doing various different things. 1 is engaging in spiritual conversations with students. 2, we model evangelism for our student leaders. 3, we do broad sowing. Basically, we do surveys, a survey called What is True Love. Another thing that we do as well is we just go to students and ask if they are a Christian or if they know of a Christian who might be interested in hearing more about Agape Liu, or if they want to be part of Agape Liu. When talking to students, something that I find interesting is still like Danish culture. The Danish culture, for those who don't know, is people are really private and reserved about what they believe in or about their faith. So when talking to students, most of the time I find that they either don't believe in anything, they just don't care, or they don't believe that God exists, or they don't see a reason for them to believe in Him. And a lot of people consider themselves as cultural Christians. To define a cultural Christian is someone who just goes to church during Christmas or Easter, but they don't have a relationship with God. They've also never heard of what the gospel is. So it gives us the opportunity now to actually sit with them and chat and actually share with them what is the gospel. The challenge now is after sharing the gospel, we don't want that to just be it, but how does it affect them specifically? We really want them to understand that this impacts their life. We also have weekly meetings every week where we gather together, have dinner with one another, and also engage in a discussion of a topic. So for example, for these past couple of weeks, we've been talking about love, we've been talking about fear, we've been talking about shame. The point of the weekly meetings is to help students see and understand how the gospel relates to our everyday life and how the gospel transforms us. For example, what is shame? How do you overcome shame? Shame relates to you specifically recognizing that you are a terrible person or that you are bad, versus guilt. Guilt is just something that you've done wrong and you feel bad about it. Here's how the gospel overcomes shame. In Colossians 1, and you who once were alienated and hostile in mind, doing evil deeds, He has now reconciled in His body of flesh by His death, in order to present you holy and blameless and above reproach before Him. Jesus, not only did He die on the cross for you and for me, but one of the biggest things is He bore our guilt and our shame. When we feel shame, we're afraid of simply judgment. We're afraid of people, we're afraid of what people think of us, how people see us, we're afraid of not being accepted. Here's the thing, it says it real clear in Colossians that Jesus' death, through that, you're going to be presented as blameless and holy before the Lord because Jesus has died for you and for me. We no longer need to be afraid about what people think of us. We no longer need to feel this fear of rejection from people for maybe things that we've done or who we are. We're trying to find acceptance. Guess what? The Lord sees worth in us. The Lord accepts us. The Lord does not reject us. The Lord loves us. To a point where He even died on the cross for us. Because of His death on the cross, He bore our shame and our guilt. We no longer need to feel that anymore. We don't need to turn to people for approval or for acceptance. Instead, we turn our eyes and fix our eyes to the Lord. And that one day, we're going to be before the Lord holy and blameless. It is that simple. So that ends my vlog. I have a couple of prayer requests for you guys if that's possible. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you guys have a great week, and I'll see you guys next time.